Kamala Harris has been picked by Joe Biden as the vice presidential running mate.
If you looked at the other people that were on the short list for this running mate position, none of them had this issue of public animosity that this pick does.
It's sort of the hypocrisy of politics in general that I absolutely have a strong disdain for, which is this idea that I get that within your own primary, you can have disagreements, or with your own within your own side, you can have disagreements on how issues should be treated. But the personal attack side of this, to then all of a sudden be like, and now I'm going to take the job as, vice president, just feels so hypocritical.
It was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. And, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
It's an interesting thing that when you take this moment from a year ago in June of 2019 and fast forward to now, if she said this now, I feel like it could completely derail his campaign. It almost did then.
When you think of Bernie Sanders, is when you think of someone who is a radical, a far left socialist. But, that's just because he, wears it on the outside, too. He's just kind of a kooky dude. Mm-hmm. She's very professional, very slick. But if you look at her actual policies and the organizations that back her up 100%, buddy, this is a very, very far left person.
It almost seems like the obvious choice for optics.
Yes.
But when you do start to look at it, is it politically the correct choice for Joe Biden? And what a lot of this is telling us, the information that we've dug through today, is that it doesn't necessarily seem politically like the right choice.
How does she line up for pro-life causes? How does she line up with Second Amendment causes? How does she line up with other situations like that? Here are some organizations that have given her some ratings. I can tell you what they are. The ACLU, you may have heard of them. Out of a scale of 100, their lifetime rating, 93%. I'm sure you're going to dig that. NARAL, Planned Parenthood, what on a 1-to-1, 100% scale, 0 to 100% scale, well, where do you think she lies?
Oh, I mean, she's a moderate, right? So 50%.
Moderate, you think maybe 80%, maybe everything but, partial birth abortion, those kind of things. No, 100%. 100. I think it's hard to get that score. I don't think that's easy. She's worked hard to get this 100% pro-choice score. And obviously the NRA at a 1 to 100, rocking it at 7% for Second Amendment rights, obviously. So 7% on there. Actually curious what that 7% is. What was she cool with? Small hunting. Climate change during her presidential campaign. You can take this as you want. If you're pro, either against, I don't care. This is just the facts. Harris introduced a $10 trillion plan to address climate change with the goal to have net zero emissions by 2045 and 100% carbon neutral electricity by 2030.
You were for Medicare for all and signed on to Bernie's bill, but now you say you're not.
Yeah.
Reconcile that for us. You were for forcing crisis pregnancy centers, pro-life pregnancy centers in California to advertise free abortions. Tell me how that's protecting of free speech as someone who was an attorney general of the state.
Do your research, listen to people, look through the facts and the evidence, and see if it's somebody. Unlike her, she'd probably block the evidence. But you look at the real evidence and see what can be done. And if you really support, if you're a liberal-leaning person and you think you're going to vote this year because of that, and again, just like our caller said, it's a little bit of a concern because unlike any other year, the likelihood of that, of if Joe Biden wins, of Senator Harris becoming the president is very likely.